Hello and welcome. We are back, episode 14 of the Book Buzz, and this is the first time we have a book that is a sequel. You'll remember, if you've been watching the Book Buzz, Ainsley talked about Nerdy Birdie, and Owen is here today, and he's going to be talking about Nerdy Birdie tweets. Hi, Owen. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am great. And so your story that you'd like to share from Classroom Book a Day is Nerdy Birdie Tweets. By Aaron Reynolds, illustrated by Matt Davies. And can you tell us a little bit about this book for people who haven't had a chance to read it yet?
So, Nerdy Birdie gets this thing called Tweetster, or as we know it is Twitter. And then his life basically gets taken over by, the internet. And then in the middle of the book, Vulture, his best friend, gets Tweetster, and then they're tweetstering, I guess I would call it. And then Tweety Bird or Nerdy Bird posted something embarrassing about Vulture, about how she eats and what she eats. And then Vulture is not that happy about it. And she decides, if he's not going to be nice to me, I won't be nice to him, really.
Yeah, and we see that on social media sometimes nowadays. And you were telling me that was one of the things you really enjoyed about the story, was that it was very current, right?
It's with the 21st century.
Yes. So you've had some experiences or heard about some times where people on social media have done things that weren't very nice. Sometimes it's easy to hide behind a screen for people. You know, when you're face to face and you have to talk to somebody, you can talk it out and you might not say some things, but you were saying, you've had experiences where people on social media will say things that they wouldn't say if they were face to face to a person, but because they're not, they do. What did you like about this book?
It's caught up with, I've already said this, but it's caught up with the 21st century. And, if you're, older, if you have social media and this is happening to you, you can really relate to it. And it's how some people you think you know really well from, social media or or something, and then you meet them in real life and they're just acting behind the scenes because you don't know what they're doing off of social media and what really happens in their life.
Sure, people act different on social media, especially when you're on social media sites where maybe you're meeting strangers. They're not. And that's one of the messages I really enjoyed about this book, because I think it's true. I think sometimes people are getting too caught up in social media and, they have so many friends on Facebook or they have so many followers on Twitter and they think that's a big deal. And Nerdy Birdie thinks that's a big deal too at first. But then he realizes he's neglecting his real life friends. And those friends on social media aren't always people that are going to be there for you when you need somebody. They're not necessarily your real friends. And he discovers the value of his real friend, Vulture.
And I noticed in this book, he basically is what I've heard people call it, fake friends. You don't know who your real friends are, and when you're so caught up in what Nerdy Birdie is in, Tweetster, you don't really contact anybody and you act like a different person than what the person you knows your friend knows how you are. You just black out everybody.
Yeah, so I think this is a book that just has a great message for all ages, so I really enjoyed it too. Before we go, can you share with us what you're reading for independent reading?
I'm reading Ugly by Robert Hoge.
Okay, awesome. And have you enjoyed the book so far?
Yeah, it's sad, but...
It's sad?
It's good.
Okay. And I noticed I've had a couple of students come to my principal's bookshelf and ask if I have a copy of it, and I don't yet, but I know we have our Scholastic Book Fair coming up soon, and it's one of the books in the Scholastic Book Fair, so I'm looking forward to purchasing it and reading it. Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and we will see you next time on the Book Buzz.